Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips with a Z on Instagram, Pothead Picker on X, and then there's the Flips and Giggles page on Facebook. So if you like the podcast, please subscribe, tell your friends. Yeah, this is episode 51, so we're on the other side of 50 episodes. I meant to do a podcast last week, but then the week just got away from me. I've been so busy. I don't know why the fuck I thought it would be a good idea to go back to school. Just a dumb fucking idea on my part. I know it's like something people are like, oh, you should be proud of that, and blah, blah, blah. It's annoying, and I wish I didn't do it. And now I'm in the middle of it. I'm gonna finish it just because I can't go back to school like for a fourth time and not finish. So I'm at least gonna finish like the 2 years. But I'm just like, why am I fucking doing this? Why? I've got a business already. I could just run it like mediocre for the rest of my life. I'm fine with that. But yeah, so, it's just, I've got a paper due this week. I haven't written a paper for like a class or an assignment in, I can't even tell you how long. So I've done most of like the setup part. I just have to actually bang out the 3 pages. So I'm hoping it won't take me that long. I'm hopefully finish it by tomorrow. It's due Friday. I've been working on it for like a week and a half. And then I had all the other like homework on top of that. So I was like, I had to finish all that shit on top of this stuff. And then I've got the new assignments for this week as well. So I finished like most of my new assignments before this assignment. So I'm hoping that I can have everything done by the end of the day Friday. So that way I could just have the weekend and like not have to do shit. And then I can kind of catch up on, I need to upload the last week's YouTube video, but it's all, I fucked up when I was recording it because I stopped the podcast. And I'm not talented enough as a producer to fix it. I can fix it. I just literally have not had time. Like I've just felt like if I don't sit down and, do my schoolwork, that I'm just going to get behind. And it's never going to get done. So, yeah. So now I'm just hoping that I can get it done by Friday. And then I can play some video games this weekend. My video game, I've been playing Space Marine 2. It's good. It's fun. It's just kind of short. Like the main story is kind of short. And then there's like some other stories that you can, or like some other missions that you can do that are like run concurrent with the story. And it was like online. It's online. I don't play online, but like there's like a free weekend thing this weekend. So like it was online. So I was playing. It's like the first game I've played online with other people where I was like, oh shit, I can actually play this with other people because I'm not getting my ass fucking completely handed to me. Most of the time, like Call of Duty doesn't even look like Call of Duty anymore. Fortnite like fucking ruined Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty was like back in the day, it was like Halo was the big, like everybody was getting together. They were having like LAN parties, if you don't know what that is. It's like, I think it was like they would just basically all take like their own systems to somebody's house and then they would play on the same network somehow. I forget what the fuck it was called. I think it was, they called it LAN parties. I think, I don't know what that means or how it worked, but, and then that was like huge. Everybody was playing fucking Halo, and then like Call of Duty and Battlefield came out, and like that was like the big thing. And then Fortnite came out, and now it's just like, I don't even know what, I see clips of these games. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? There's like the Ninja Turtles are in Call of Duty. Like, how does that even work? The Ninja Turtles aren't bulletproof. You're just going to be shooting the fucking Ninja Turtles with like semi-automatic weapons? Like, what the fuck what are we doing? Why? So yeah. So now I got to do my taxes. That's the next big thing. So I think like this weekend I'm going to do my taxes. I think that was what I was trying to free up my weekend for, if I can remember correctly. Because my taxes are fairly straightforward. I have them all like organized chaotically, if that makes sense. Like I know it's all like I just like store everything throughout the year in like certain spots, and then I just go back and like basically take inventory of all the stuff that like is everywhere. But it all adds up in the end. It's like that's all that matters. So, and yeah, so now we got the winter's just dragging. It's like middle of February right now, and it just feels like these are the longest 2 months of the year every year. It's January and February. It just takes so fucking long to just get out of it. Because once March rolls around, you start to see like sale here. You have more than just estate sales starting up once March hits. But like just getting through February and January has been just a nightmare. It was so, the other day it was like warm one day, and I was like, man, I wish I had known it was going to be this warm. It wasn't even warm in the morning. It was like warm in the afternoon. I was like, man, I wish I had known it was going to be a little bit warmer out that day. I would have done a yard sale, but it just kind of came out of nowhere. And then the next day it went back to being like fucking an ice cube again. It was so fucking cold the next day that I don't even know what happened. It was so nice out. Not even nice. It was raining, but it was warm, warmer than it's been. It's been so fucking cold. But last year around this time, because we had like pictures pop up from like last year with us, the kids, we're like outside playing in the puddles, which means it was warm enough in February for them to be jumping in puddles without me worrying, oh, it's getting too cold. So it's just pretty crazy. Yeah, went to the uncomfortable post office again today. It was a long ass line, so I just dipped out. The dude, the R2D2 dude who got his Lego smash was back today. So I don't know if he like went crazy and like had to get disciplined or some shit, or just like he was like, oh, I need a mental health thing. But he was gone for a while, and he was back there like, I was like, oh man, those like when you go to a place and there's like one person that's just kind of weird or throws off the energy, and you're just like, I don't want to deal with that person. And like that was kind of that guy. He was just, he was kind of a loose cannon. Not even a loose cannon. Like I wasn't worried that he was gonna try to fucking shoot me or something. But it was just like, what conversation am I gonna have to get into with this guy? Like any given day, you know what I mean? He's one of those people that just gives you his opinion about something you didn't ask for, like right away. And it's just like yeah. Have you tried the new Mountain Dew fucking Skittles flavor? Oh yeah, fucking like that type of person. You know what I mean? It's just to kind of tells you something that like has nothing to do with what you're doing at the moment. That the thought just popped into their head. Like, I can't wait to get out of work so I can go try that new flavor of Mountain Dew. And then they have to tell you so that you hear their fucking inside thoughts as well. And it's just really annoying. Went to an estate sale this weekend. I'm done talking about Mountain Dew flavors or whatever the fuck it was I was talking about. Sorry, I was up a little bit late because I didn't get my shit done until later. And then I've been running around today. This is the first time I've sat down. I took my kids bowling. It's been this is the February vacation. So yesterday and Monday we were down seeing my wife's family. So we were like, beginning of part of the week was taken care of, and now it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and my wife's back to work. She has the weekend off. So I was like, all right, well, let's start the week off Wednesday with like, we can do something. You know what I mean? Let's start the week getting out of the house, get their energy out quick. So I was like, all right, what can we do? Hold on, I'm going to grab this while I'm talking. Oops, sorry. I didn't think that would make nearly that much noise. So I'm like, all right, well, what can we do? Like, let's go do something. It's freezing outside. Like, any of the indoor play places, like, are going to be packed. You know what I mean? Like the indoor playgrounds. And, oh, shit. Hold on. And so, yeah, so like the indoor playgrounds were going to be packed because everybody and their mother is going to have the same idea. Like, let's bring them to the indoor playground. They can run around. Hopefully they get like all their energy out and they can, nap or whatever later in the day. So I was like, I don't want to go deal with all that. And every fucking time we go to those places, somebody gets sick. Like, the next day or a couple days later, we go home and then somebody's sick and then it gets everybody else sick. So I just decided, like, let's do bowling. You know what I mean? Because bowling is like something we don't really do it that often. They know the general idea because we have a little bowling set at the house. But like, so we went there. Our neighbors came and met us, so we met them at the bowling alley. And so we're bowling, and we got the little friggin' ramp set up and the bumpers and all that stuff. And it's going well at first. I think we got through like a frame, maybe, if that, like a full frame, doing the correct turns. And then it just became like, as their excitement kept growing, it just became like a free-for-all. It was like a ball would fucking come up the little chute and one of them would grab it and just throw it regardless of like, what was going on. And so they kept hitting the fucking thing. And I kept telling them to stop doing like, it wasn't like I wasn't talking to them about this. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, can you guys stop? And I could feel the employee behind me and I'm just like, okay, like, and they started telling me like, oh, they hit the thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah. And I thought she was telling me like she corrected the score or something like that so we could get an extra turn. And I was like, oh, we're just playing for fun. We're not like keeping score. And then she got like kind of shitty with me. She was like, oh, well, we don't want them to like break the thing. Da, da, da. So I was like, oh, like I wasn't like talking back like, oh, like, they're fine, dude. I was annoyed with my kids because they kept fucking doing it. They kept throwing it. And I was like, hey, wait until I tell you to go. So then I had to get to the point where I'd have to hold the ball and be like, okay, you can go once I hand you the ball. Because they were just like, and then there's like dudes you could tell that there was dudes like doing it seriously next to us. And I'm like, and it's 10 o'clock. I try to get there right when they open. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, but whatever. It's fucking school vacation week. Like we weren't the only kids there. So we just did one round. That was it. Luckily we like finished up shortly after. I didn't even get like shitty with the person. It was a they them too. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think they were a they them. Like I don't think they were intentionally a they them. They just kind of were they them. You know what I mean? And the bowling alley, I think has been way more progressive about that type of stuff for a lot longer. You know what I mean? I used to be in a bowling league with my wife. She was in a league, and then I started going, with her. Because I knew if I hung out with her that day, like I would get some booty later that night. Because, they'd be drinking and whatnot. And so I would just go and hang out at fucking bowling. And then I started being like, hey, can I do it? And I started getting decent at it. But like you see, like, there's always like one person there that's just kind of like, you can't really tell whether they're a dude or a chick. A lot of times they look Native American too, like oddly Native. This was this person. I'm pretty sure it was a chick. I don't think that they were like, be like my pronoun. You know what I mean? They don't even look like they gave a shit about pronouns. That's just what they look like. And so I got a talking to by them. That was who gave me the talking to. And, so we finished up bowling. It was candlestick bowling too. So if you're not from the East Coast, if you never heard, or candlepin, if you're not from the East Coast, if you've never heard of candlepin bowling, it's like the smaller little balls with the skinny bowling pins. It's 10 frames instead of 9, and then there's like you go 3 times each time. So it takes a lot longer to do these games. So I'm glad they only charge you like after you've already done the game, so we didn't like have to prepay for like 3. We did 2 games. I would have only done 1 anyway, just because There's no way they would have made it through a whole game. Like, they made it. I was surprised. They made it to like the 7th or 8th frame before they were like, all right, we're bored. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, you made it almost the whole game. And so then we went over and we did like the arcade stuff. And we ended up winning. Like, we always used to, whenever we walk out of there, I think we walk out with like 100 tickets. Anytime we go to a place like that, like 100 tickets is the most we ever win. We walked out of there with like 832 tickets. It was fucking nuts. I hit on they have some game there where you pull, it's like a little lever and you have to pull it back and then like let go, and you hit this ball and it goes like, it hits these little plastic things that flop over and then they open back up. So when the ball comes down, it gets stuck on the plastic piece, and that's where that's where your basically your prize level is. So they're all different marks. So I did it. My daughters did one each, and then I did it. And I did mine, and I got the jackpot, which is like 300 tickets or whatever. I did it with ease. I probably could have done it like 4 times in a row. I'm not even gonna lie. But they didn't have any good prizes. Like, if they had a Nintendo Switch, I would have gone back there, like spent another 25 and just I would have easily been able to do it a bunch of times. Like, it was one of the easier games I've ever played. And then we played like ring toss. We did all the fun, like, electronic arcade games or whatever. Played a couple different games. And then we went to like do the clown throwing thing. My daughter's got a fucking crazy arm. She was like launching the balls at those the clown things where you have to knock them over, the little clown jar thing, whatever they are. And she was fucking crushing it. And then apparently like the lady behind the thing didn't think I was being enthusiastic enough, because as soon as she like was done doing her thing, like the lady was like, yeah, good job. And I was like, I was saying it. Like, so yeah, it just overall wasn't a good day for me and the employees at the bowling alley. They were on my every move. I'm like, dude, mom's at fucking work. What do you want me to do? I'm trying to find something to do with these kids so we don't kill each other at the house. Come on. So I'm really not looking forward to finishing this and go and have to do this fucking paper, man. I hate writing papers. I've never liked writing papers. Luckily, this one wasn't like, you didn't really need sources. So that's a big help. Because it's basically just like, you're supposed to write this paper from the perspective of like a college student, I guess, who's doesn't have a business and a family. You know what I mean? So a lot of like the questions and shit like that are like related to like, younger people. And a lot of like the stuff that we're doing. Because it's like, oh, do this, fill out this personality test, and then fill out your like career interests, and then write a paper on like what possible careers would be good for you. And like, I don't know, I would want to do that. I just don't like, I'm almost 40. I'm not going to be like, hey, I took a personality quiz. Now I decided I'm going to quit reselling and I'm going to do something else. You know what I mean? But I get the idea of the class. It's an intro level class, aimed at like, primarily college age kids and not adults who just fucked around and partied too much during college. Like, I would be in college, and there was a guy I was friends with, and we would text each other. And he would just text me and be like, hey, do you want to go smoke a second gen blunt? And if you've never smoked a second gen blunt, I used to hang out with, let me go back a little bit. So where I went to college, it was like the town next door. I basically was like, I don't want to leave my town. Like, I just want to, because none of my friends were going to college. So I was like, I just want to like fuck around with my friends and still go to college, which was a terrible idea. Because then I felt like an outsider at the school. You know what I mean? I didn't know anybody. I should have gone there and stayed there. That's what I really wish. I wish I had fucking gone to school. But then I would have had like a roommate in a fucking room with me. It would have been weird. Anyway, so this school that I went to was like right next to where I went to school, where I grew up, and my town had my city rather, it's not a town, it's a big ass city. It had a reputation for being like, fairly ghetto and like dangerous in some areas. And so like a lot of the kids that would go to my college, where I originally went to college, were like, preppy white kids from like affluent families or like affluent towns in Connecticut. And so I had like a little business that I fucked up because I knew people that in the area that were 21 and over, and I had a fake ID at one point. And like, let's face it, most of the liquor stores near where I grew up, you could just go in because it was like, some fucking Haitian guy would be selling it to you for, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't fucking give a shit. He had no idea what the actual laws were. And so like, you could just go get alcohol wherever. And so people would just pay me to get them alcohol. They would give me like a fucking alcohol list. They'd give me money, and then I'd go and get them the booze and come back. And I had a whole little system going that worked for a while. And then I fucked over one kid. And it was like a day they had a ton of money. And we had started drinking earlier in the day. And we just like never went back with their money. We just kept all their money and bought a bunch of booze for ourselves. And then they were like, hey, what happened? And I tried to play it off like, oh, I gave the dude the money, and he just never came back. So I was like, yeah, I'm just as pissed as you, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, that was the end of that. They never went through me to get alcohol again, and then it dried up. And I was making decent money doing it, and I was just a fucking idiot. Some of the things I did when I was younger. And, I mean, it was like drugs and alcohol played a big role. But anyway, back to the drugs and alcohol. So, like, these were the type of kids, they'd hit me up like, hey, can you go get me alcohol, whatever? Can you go into Brockton for whatever? And so there was this one dude, and he would text me, like we'd be in class. Like there was one, I still remember the name of the class because it was so ridiculous that I took it. I don't remember why the fuck I took it. It was like an ancient America class. I would have liked an ancient America class. I don't think that's what it was. It was like an ancient America, like language class or something like that. I don't even remember. It was like some ridiculous fucking class. And this dude would text me like, hey, do you want to go smoke a second gen blunt? And like when I was in college, like at this time, I was like a broke college kid who lived at home. And, like if my mom had charged me rent, I would have been fucking screwed, but she didn't charge me rent. But I was just a degenerate, you know what I mean? I was just always out partying. I always had a job, but I never had any money. And so like anytime somebody was like, hey, let's go smoke weed, I'm like, all right, fucking let's do it. And so he's like, yeah, let's go do second gen blunt. If you don't know what a second gen blunt is, it's fucking gross. It's like pre-smoked blunts. The roaches or whatever's left from the thing, they just like would take it all out and then put it into a blunt and smoke it. You'd smoke another blunt with the pre-smoked weed already. And it was just called a second gen. It's a second generation blunt, you know what I mean? And so we would do that, and also cocaine. So we'd be like, let's go do the second gen blunt, and then we were doing like cocaine at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then it was just like from then I was just like bouncing to different places, getting fucking fucked up. I'm surprised I don't have a drug problem like now. You know what I mean? Like there was a time when I just would drive around finding drugs and alcohol and smoking weed. And like smoking weed like a degenerate. Like now I like to think, even though like if from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, he's a pothead, he's a fucking degenerate. But like I do it in what I think is a classy way. I do the quick dab. I'm in, I'm out, I'm discreet. I don't fucking stink like weed all the time. Like, my wife knows that when I smoke because I give her a kiss and she's like, oh, it smells like weed on your lips. But other than that, it's like there's no indication that I'm fucking smoking weed. I'm not like smoking blunts, you smell disgusting, and like so it's not like I'm doing anything like that. But there was a time when I would like legit would just be like, I would drive around with a buddy of mine, and we would go to like see different people that we knew in the neighborhood, and like we would go around with change to get loose cigarettes because you could sell. There's certain places in my city where you could buy loosies, which are like single cigarettes, which is illegal. And there's one guy you would go in and he'd be like, he had a gold tooth, And I'm pretty sure he was selling cocaine out of there too. And you go, hey, can I get a Lucy or whatever? And he would go, no, G units. You got to say G units, bro. And he'd get like fucking pissed. And so you go in, you'd have to ask for a G unit or whatever. And I went in there one time and I didn't see that there was a cop in there, and I asked him for one. He was like fucking pissed. And he's like, don't fucking boop. So it was like a very sketchy, like shady fucking time in my life. And like we would just drive around and see different people that we knew. There was one guy who was a weed dealer, and he would just smoke blunts all day. So my buddy was cool with him. So we would go over there, and he wouldn't charge us to just sit there and smoke. So we'd smoke a blunt, and then we'd drive across town, find more. We'd collect change from the different people that we would see to get enough money to buy cigarettes. And like, yeah, I mean, that was not that long ago. No, it was a while ago. I was in my early 20s. Like, no, I was a teen. I had to have been a teenager at this point, because I moved when I was like 21. So I was either like 19 or 20 when I was doing all this shit. But yeah. How I went from school to all that. But yeah, like just now I'm at the point where I'm like taking this school stuff, and I'm like, fuck, man, like I don't need this. But like I also don't, like, I just kind of sat down and did it yesterday. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like there's a situation, I think I talked about this a little bit, but when I had to go to that birthday party for my kid a while back, and I thought like leading up to it, I was like, working myself up with nerves or whatever. And then like the day of, I was not nervous at all. I was like, I didn't even give a shit. I was like, oh, this is for my kids, so I'm just going to go do it. You know what I mean? So it's just like now I don't even get like, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sit down and do it. Like I think about it and I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to quit this school. Like I'm already over it. I don't have time. But then I just do it. I'm like, I sit down, I just do it. Like last night, I just sat down, I just did it. And I banged out like most of the last part of what I need before I can write the fucking paper. So then hopefully I could just bullshit. Quick paper. I mean, not bullshit, but like, like type it just to kind of hope it just comes to me, And I don't take any notes, which is really stupid. But I've like passed all the tests and retained all the information. I don't know. I feel like notes are distracting to me. I can't take notes. It's distracting. I'd rather go back and read something 5 times and be like, oh, okay, I got it. Than like write the notes down and be like, oh, well, now I just wrote this down and I still don't understand it. That's just not the way my brain works. So yeah, anyway, I'm done talking about school. School and kids vacation. It's, man, just a couple more days till my wife is off. Fuck me. So anyway, I went to a estate sale this last weekend. It was Friday. No. It was Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday was the days of the sale. So I went Saturday, and I got there at like 8:15, and they're supposed to open at 9. And so I always go a little bit early just in case. And like some guy showed up there. I was hoping that they were going to let me in. But they were like, couple more minutes. Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, this dude shows up. And he's one of my buddies that I know from yard sales. But like anytime he shows up, I'm like, well, fuck. Now there goes like half the shit that I was going to get. You know what I mean? Like I was going to get probably get a little bit more stuff. But I think I got most of the stuff that was the good stuff in this house. I was quicker than he was. And he had his kid with him, so his kid was kind of slowing him down. So I go to this sale, and they've got like some cool bikes that I was interested in, and like a bunch of different electronics. I got like an old Nintendo carry bag, which was like pretty rare. And I already made my money back. I bought some silverware with all the stuff that I got from there, like some sterling silver flatware. And is this still recording? Okay, it is recording. I don't know why. I just was tripping out for some reason. I didn't see the red dot being on the recorder, and for some reason I didn't think it was on, but it was on. So anyway, yeah, so I go there and I get a bunch of stuff. Not like a ton. I got like a cool jacket, Jeff Hamilton NHL like leather jacket, Boston Bruins. It's got a big stain, unfortunately. And then there's a couple other cool things I got. Got that sterling silver flatware, sold it. And so, yeah, basically I already made my money back. So Monday was, President's Day? So they were doing the sale again on Monday. So I was like, all right, this will be like, and they had a dumpster outside. And when I was there on Friday, like I could overhear the ladies talking about how they were like, oh, we just want to get rid of everything, blah, 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 blah. But there was a guy in the garage, and I went out to the garage to ask a couple about, like, they had like license plates. So I asked about the license plates, and he wants like $10 a piece, and like he's pricing all this shit super high. So I'm like, all right, like this fucking guy. So then I go back on Monday, and I should have not, but I actually ended up doing okay going back there Monday. But still, I go back there and I'm like, oh, are there going to be some deals? Da, da, da. He's like, well, some things are still marked, but for some stuff, I'll probably sell it online. So I'm like, fuck, I just wasted my time. But I ended up getting like a bicycle. I got some marbles, which I'm going to throw. I'm going to do a marble auction and soon, not on Whatnot, but just I'm going to run like a lot of all these marbles and do it as an auction because I've got way too much that have just been sitting there. So then, so get all my stuff, I pay out, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I found another piece of like 10K gold chain that was in the jewelry thing, and they were like, oh yeah, that's all costume jewelry. All costume jewelry again. So that was the only thing I found, but it was like really small to be marked, so like you had to like use a magnifying glass and shit. And so then I went back there Sunday, because they had the dumpster and they were complaining how they wanted everything gone. And so I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, I'll bring the trailer. I brought the trailer for the first time. I was pumped to use it. I got it all ready to go. I got it registered the other day. So I bring the trailer and I get there and it's just the guy who is in the garage. And I was like, fuck. Where's everybody else? Like, where are the ladies who just want everything gone? So it's just him. And somehow, so I got this bike that was like, it was a cool Tommy Bahama, or not Tommy Bahama, Margaritaville, like Jimmy Buffett bike. It's like orange and blue. It's fucking sick looking. It was all dusty. So I cleaned it up this morning and I took pictures. I'm going to list it after this. And, yeah, so I'm like thinking that, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go and get a bunch of shit. So I start making a pile, and he's got like these Fenton glass things that were still there that had been there all weekend. So I'm like, oh, how much are you asking on like the glass stuff? He's like, oh, I don't know, like $2 a piece. So I grab a bunch of them, like probably have like $20 worth. And so he's like, oh, yeah, I just talked to my sister or whoever he was talking to, and he's like, oh, she said that's the Fenton stuff, so that stuff's going to be $50, but you can take all the glassware. And I was like, well, I don't really want all the glassware, just this stuff is what I wanted, like, how much for this? And he goes, $40. I'm like, all right. So normally I would try to like haggle or whatever, so he comes up with this price like $135 for all the stuff, and I paid $100 on Friday when I went there. Paid $100 Friday, and I got way more stuff on Friday, more valuable stuff. Obviously, it's the first day, and so I start taking stuff off. I'm like, oh, like trying to figure out how I'm getting to this price. So we take off the 40 from the glassware, and now I'm down to 90. And at this point, I've got like a Cutco like a wall hanger. I just grabbed them because they were like, I figured I could. Cutco stuff sells well. It's vintage, so I'm like, I'll grab that. And like a couple other things, and somehow he was telling me it was $90. And then so I'm like, well, what if I just put back this DVD? And then he had a set of like Stargate SG1 DVDs, and like that I think was what he was charging me like $50 for. I was like, where's all this money coming from? So then at this point, I'm just getting annoyed. But again, it's your sale, so you can ask whatever you want. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna put this stuff back, and I'm just gonna get this stuff. How much for this? And it went from like $30 to $35. You know what I mean? Because originally he told me 30 for this stuff, and then it went from like 30 to 35 for all the rest of the stuff that I had. I'm like, okay, well, that's more of like where I was at. And somehow all the other stuff was like crazy, ridiculously priced. And he was telling me they only had 8 people the day before. Like they didn't have that many people. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, because you're being cheap as fuck. You're trying to get rid of this stuff and you're over here charging me a premium on it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I was really like, I thought I was going to go there and be like their hero. Like, oh, this dude showed up with a trailer. Yeah, just load up. $50 to load your trailer. Like, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting to just be like, whatever you want, $50, just take it. And that was not the case. It was like, I went through the whole house, found a couple other things, but it was just like, yeah, I can't understand the reasoning behind that. You got a dumpster. You don't want to have to put everything in this dumpster. You're having a sale. I'm here with a fucking trailer, and I'm telling you, I want to buy a bunch of this stuff, and you just like raise the price on me after we agreed on a price. That shit always pisses me off. The fact that you even had the nerve to be like, hey, the fact that you talked to somebody after you gave me a price just to make sure you hadn't fucked up. Like, you had already told me the price of the glass. Now, mind you, I'm not like a big glass guy. You know what I mean? So this glass could have been like, if you look online, there's Fenton glass stuff that goes for like $10 all the way up to fucking however much money. So I don't know what I'm looking at here, but I'll take a gamble at $2 a piece, which is what you fucking told me. And then you turn around and call your sister or your wife or something, whoever the fuck you were talking to, after we had already agreed on that, and I pulled it all out. I was like, dude, these fucking people. And I wasn't even annoyed. That's the thing. I wasn't getting annoyed. I was just being nice. And I'm just like, these people deserve for me to be an asshole to them, because it's like, the fuck. And then they had these vintage T-shirts that weren't out when I got there the day before, on Friday, and it was for like this. I think it's like a Christian thing back in the. I don't know if they still do them, but it says marriage encounter, and he's like, "Oh, did your parents ever do a marriage encounter?" I'm like, "My parents." I think, well, I don't fucking have one parent. Like. And that's gross. What the fuck is a marriage encounter? So I looked it up, and it's just like, it's the definition or the explanation is a little bit worse than what I was even thinking. It's like a Christian thing where married couples hang out with other Christian married couples non-sexually, just like brothers in Christ type thing, I guess. I don't fucking know. And so there was a few of those T-shirts, but it's like, says something about like making love. It's very inappropriate for like a Christian T-shirt. So I grabbed a few of those because he had like 3 of them. So I grabbed the 3 of them, and like those cost me next to nothing. Like, he wasn't charging me for most of the stuff, but then the stuff he was trying to charge me for, I was like, what the fuck? And then he had these Disney DVDs that were like sealed. And those ones I could tell they were going for some good money, but he was like, he wanted like 20 a piece for them. I should have thrown him an offer and just to see, but I could tell. And he was one of those people who was like, where, as we're conversing, he's just like, yeah, I kind of trust people not to lowball me. Just kind of throws it in there. It's like, well, no, you shouldn't trust that people aren't going to lowball you. That's the whole point of a sale, is that people are coming here to lowball you. Like, if you didn't want them to lowball you, you would have had everything priced. You would have hired somebody to do a professional sale, and you would have tried to get top dollar. You know what I mean? Instead, you did the bare minimum. You barely advertised, and you're trying to get top dollar. Like, that's just not going to work. So you just missed out. He probably missed out on a bunch of money in sales. I'm sure I wasn't the only person who put piles back. But it was just crazy. The first day, it was like I said, I've already made my money back from the sale, the whole weekend sale, just from one sale of the silverware that I bought there. But it's just like, it's just so crazy to me. Like, just get rid of it. Just get rid of the shit. You got the dumpster. I'm here paying you to take this shit away. Just fucking take the money and run. Like, I would have paid $80 for everything that we agreed on. Instead, it was like he had me down to 90, and I had to put shit back. So I was like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. But again, I was very polite and respectful. At least that's the way I saw it. Who knows? You never know. You never know. All right, we got about 20 minutes left. So let me pull up list here. Oh, I finally, dude. I've been waiting. I talked a couple weeks ago about how the store near me, the local store, had I think both of my kids are sleeping, dude. The bowling alley did the trick. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna have time to work on my paper after I'm done with the podcast before my kids wake up. Hell fucking yes, dude. Anyway, so yeah, the vending machine, Pokemon vending machine, it is freezing down here. I'm in the basement and I'm like, I forgot to put the heat on because we haven't been home. And I'm just now realizing, like 40 minutes into a podcast, I am fucking cold. Are my nips fucking hard? Anyway, I need a haircut bad. My hair is all fucking long. I just saw myself in the reflection of the iPad, the black mirror over here. So then, so this Pokemon machine, they put it in a few like weeks back, and I've been going in. It's like, oh, this machine's performing maintenance, and so apparently they like restock every morning. So like as long as I just go there in the morning, I can get Pokemon cards if I want. So I went there a couple mornings before the fucking flea market dudes go there and just fucking buy out all the Surging Sparks. I might just start doing that next time I have a day. My wife's working. I'm just gonna go over there and just buy all the Surging Sparks, and just do that like a couple days a week. But no, I don't want to do that. It takes forever. You have to do it one at a time. So it has to so you have to pay for it, and then you can only select one thing. So then it goes one item at a time, and it takes forever. And there's people that go, and there's like lines, and they'll just sit and wait, and they'll just clear out the Surging Sparks booster packs. But yeah, it must restock like every day. I'm waiting for them to do like a major restock because they don't have any like the prismatic evolution things in there, but they have them just out of stock. But that's a cool ass thing. It's just a fucking Pokemon machine. I love Pokemon cards. I've been opening Pokemon cards since I was younger. And I honestly haven't gotten a good Pokemon hit in like, I think my last good one was like a Charizard that I got like years ago out of the stuff I have stashed away. I like bought a bunch of Shining Fates, and I was like, all right, I'm going to open till I find a cool card. And on like the first box, I think I found a Charizard, a black Charizard shiny. And so that's in with my Charizard collection. One of these days, I'm going to sell that collection, my Charizard collection, but not today, dude. Not to fucking day. Did I even finish what I was talking? The Pokemon machine, yeah. But yeah, I was talking to the manager. The manager came over, and he was like, he's like, oh, you're the first person I've seen use this machine. And I'm like, well, this is how fucking out of touch managers are. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had a job where a manager knew what the fuck was going on. And it's just like, just by saying that simple phrase, it's like, you'd think it was just an arbitrary thing to say. But by saying that, it's like you really just admitted that you don't know what the fuck is going on in your store. Because I'm a customer here, and I've seen you here, and I've also seen a line of people waiting for this fucking machine. My wife has seen a line of people waiting for this machine. So you just are not paying attention, sir. And I could tell he's just kind of like that type of dude. You know what I mean? He's got like, he's like, he thinks he's cool because he's the manager, but it's like, you're the manager of the grocery store, my friend. You know what I mean? Like like they always dress like they're cool. They like always have like the cool like manager. I'm not shitting on, like, I had a manager for the longest time, dude, that I worked. He was a cool dude. He was like super nice. He was like one of the managers of the store, you know, always was just like doing the thing. And he had a wife that was like there, and she always looked like way older than him. And I was just like, that was his fucking wife. But anyway, they always are like those type of managers always, you know, but it's like they think that they're fucking super cool, and they have that attitude about them, like that they're just like, I'm the fucking man. And it's like, you're kind of not, though. Like, you're the man at the staff meeting, but the second that staff meeting dissipates, the employees are all talking shit about you, and you look like a dork. But anyway, I don't know. It's hard to do a reselling podcast when there's not really many yard sales. I keep trying to get a fucking storage unit. The last two I've been going after were paid up. I went to a storage unit, like an in-person storage unit sale or auction, Didn't end up buying anything. Those, I used to go to those and there would be like 5 of us. It was fucking awesome. Now there's like 20 people. They've started to get a following, which is annoying. I hate when that shit happens. You get into something, you find something that like nobody else knows about, and then all of a sudden you start seeing all these fucking dipshits and dorks. But I don't know. I mean, they do them every day, so I just need to go to one that's not right. I always go to the one that's right in my town, but I need to just drive to one the next time my wife's off. I'm gonna do that, but she's not off until like the end of next week again. I mean, she's off like this weekend, but not during the week. They don't do them during the weekends. They should, though. You would think that they would do them on the weekends. I'm trying to find more in-person ones. I can only find one. There's only one that I can find. So I've looked everywhere to try to find like the in-person storage units. You just need to find a connect. And now that I've got my thing registered, I've got to now figure out how I'm going to go about advertising, like, because I've heard people on certain reseller groups be like, oh, I'm going to go, I've advertised that I do pickups for like donations. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, I'm going to pick the stuff up to be donated. And essentially you can keep the stuff that you want and then donate the rest. So you offer it as like a service. So I think I'm going to start there. But then I'm like, do I like start advertising that I do clean outs? Like, and then what happens if I do a clean out and like then I have to get rid of this stuff to the dump? So it's like I got to figure out the dump situation. So maybe that's what I'll do. I have a paper to write. I've got a 3-page fucking paper and I'm not a writer. I already forgot what I was going to mark down, so I didn't forget. Already forgot it. Couldn't have been that important. All right, let's see. Where did it go? I just had it. Oh, there you go. There we go. I noted this down. But I don't even remember where I saw this. Again, whenever I think of something or something for the podcast, I'll write it down right that instant. So I wrote down that I saw a dork with a wristband. Like he had a wristband, but then he had his cell phone on it. And then I put like he's the quarterback of the Starfleet recreational football team. I thought that was funny. But that's what he looked like. I was like, what the fuck I've never seen somebody, like I've seen the clipped phone on the waist, but this was like a legit, like he had like an armband with a phone and he was like using it. Like, I'm like, what is happening right now? You're not running an offense. So yeah, that's where we're at for the content of this podcast. That was one thing that I saw. And then the other day, so I had a watch that I had got for free. I've already made like $200-$300 on the other stuff that I had from that lot. And so I had this watch forever and I just kept forgetting about it. And then finally I was like, oh, like let me just list this watch. Like I'm not going to get it repaired. It's damaged. I'll just sell it for parts repair and see what happens. And it was 14 karat gold, like the case. So like all the other ones were going for good money. So I was like, all right, like let's see. And I put it up and I got an offer for like $700 within a couple hours. So I waited overnight, you know what I mean? You want to make sure that nobody else is going to send any offers. And I just kept dropping the price. And then finally it got down to 800. I was like, all right, well, nobody's sent an offer higher than 7. So I took the 700. And then shortly after I accepted that 700, I had 2 different sales, one for 200 and one for 225. Those 2 sales were to the same person. So I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I made $1,000 on a Friday. I was like, it's going to be a good weekend. Like, you know, the weekend are it's my biggest sales, you know? And so I'm like, all right, sweet. Like, and then it just died. Like I dropped off my packages on Friday thinking like, oh, I'll get more packages overnight, do one more stop on Saturday, and then, you know, by Monday or whatever. And that was not the case at all. Hold on, I already forgot what the fuck I was saying because I just was farting and Didn't want it to be that loud. Oh, yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of money. It's like, I'm already making a G. It's Friday. It's going to be busy. And then the sales just dropped off the face of the earth. I had like maybe one sale and then like another sale in the middle of the week. Like that's not normal for me at all. I'm used to like at least a sale a day, like at least one sale per day. And that just didn't happen. It just like slowed the fuck down. And then like just recently it started back up again. So it's like, did they cap how much money you can fucking make? Like, it was crazy. I made $1,000 in one day and I was like, oh, I'm going to make good money this weekend. Like, I just have to make what I regularly make and it'll be a fucking awesome weekend. And then it just completely died. They were like, nope, that's your money for the weekend. It's like, what the fuck? And then, I don't know why, but that line from the Tupac song, I mean, I know why, because it's like, I made a G today, but you made it in a sleazy way. And it's funny because like he's talking about drugs and shit in that song. And but like a lot of people think that resellers are sleazy, you know what I mean? So it could apply to resellers. Like, I made a G today, but you made it in a sleazy way. Speaking of songs, I wanted to write this down earlier because I will forget. Does anybody remember if you're an eBay seller? Do you remember back in the day there was that song, the commercial? Like they used to have eBay commercials on regularly, and eBay actually had some pretty good commercials. But there was one, it was like, do you know the way to use eBay? Does anybody remember that? Maybe just me. Do you know the way to use eBay? I think that's how it went. I have to look up that commercial because now I want to watch it. But anyway, so sold all that stuff, the $1,000 stuff or whatever. And then like a week goes by and one of the chains that I had sent, it was like stamped 18K. And I usually test everything with the magnet, but like I remember I didn't test that one. Just I forgot on that batch of stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't even know, but they messaged me and they were like, hey, one of the pair of earrings you sent me was good, blah, 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 blah. But the chain that you sent wasn't gold. I believe it was a fake, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, oh yeah, no problem. If you want to return it, go ahead, start a return, this, that, and the other. And I'm just, in my head, I'm like, fuck, this is $200. So like the whole time I'm just like, operating as if I'm out this $200. And they still haven't sent it back. They still haven't even like started they started the return, but they still haven't started to ship it. You know what I mean? And they weren't fishing for a refund because they were like, I want to return this. They were very nice about it. But things happen, you know what I mean? And sometimes people just forget to send stuff, or, a lot of people who buy on eBay are like fucking hoarders. You know what I mean? You'll find people, like some of the houses I go to are people that were hoarders for like eBay stores. And they leave like just an ungodly amount of stuff that's just like stuff that they just buy on eBay. You know what I mean? And so like they just have so much of it. So that could have been a situation that somebody just buys a ton of stuff. You know what I mean? Because the gold earrings and the gold chain that I was selling were like two different styles of jewelry. So it was like, what? But we'll see. Hopefully, I'm hoping that it goes away, because it's been like I think it's like a couple more days before the return closes. So I'm just like counting down the days. I'm hoping it's not on the last day that they send it back. But we'll see. It's getting close to the end. So if by some miracle they don't send it back, that would be awesome, because it's an extra $200. I mean, when do you not need an extra $200? All right, so we've got about 5 minutes left. Let me just pull up some more topics. Oh my goodness, this was fucking so frustrating the other day. So this lady messages me about Facebook Marketplace pickup. She wants to pick up this lava lamp that I've had for a hot minute. So I bought it for $5. I had it listed for like $25 on Facebook Marketplace. And this lady's like, yeah, can I come by later can I come by in a little bit to pick this up, blah, blah, blah. What's your address? And I tell her, because I'm like, I'm going to be here until X amount of time, thinking that she would show up shortly, like she said. So it's like a half hour before we're about to eat dinner, and she's like, hey, I'm going to be there in a half hour, so can you come meet me then? So I'm just like, so at this point I'm like, well, this lady was supposed to come earlier, so now I'm like, we're about to eat dinner. So I was like, well, we're about to eat dinner, is it possible for you to just come to the house? It's right up the street from where we were going to meet before, whatever. So I text her that. She's like, yeah, that's fine, no problem. So I text her the address. So I'm getting ready, I'm like waiting, it's like, she's not here. So then she texts me again or messages me, and she's like, yeah, I'm at the Cumberland Farms, which is like a convenience store in the next town over. And she's like, they don't know where your house is. I'm like, I don't know why you would think they would. Why the fuck would, they've never been to my house. I gave you the address. So then she like ends up at another restaurant nearby, and then I just don't hear from her. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then she messages me back. She's like, I'm still here looking to meet up. I'm back at the Cumberland Farms. My phone died. So I was like, all right, I'll just go fucking meet you over at the restaurant where you were just at. Just go there. And at this point, I'm getting annoyed because it's like, we just ate dinner already. Like, we've eaten dinner already. This lady messaged me at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon saying she was on her way shortly. And I just want it done at this point. I want her to stop messaging me. I want my fucking cash in hand. So I go to this fucking restaurant. I pull in. And fucking I see the lady. So I'm like, I pull around her, so she can see me and park. And text her that I'm there. And she starts driving to the opposite side. I just pulled in. Literally pulled in front of her. She saw me. And then she starts driving to the other side of the fucking parking lot. Like, oh my God, this lady is absolutely retarded. So I get out and I go back over to go, talk to her with the fucking lamp. I start walking up to the car, windows wide open. I go, excuse me. This lady goes, wah! And like fucking jumps. Like, I'm sorry. Were you not waiting for me? Were you not expecting me to fucking walk up to you? Like, so then she's like, oh, nobody in this area knows how to give directions. I'm like, I gave you the directions. I gave you the address. I told you exactly how, like, she's like, yeah, you told me some bridge and then the other person told me some bridge. I don't see a bridge. And I'm like, well, we're standing on it. And she's like, this is a bridge? I'm like, well, there's water on that side and there's water on that side. So yeah, this is a bridge. And yeah, she was fucking, that's how dumb she was. She didn't realize that the bridge that I was telling her that she had to go over, we were fucking on. I'm like, what did you think you were driving on in the middle of the water? Like, and so then she goes to pay me and I have it listed for $25. She hands me $20 and goes, oh, thank you. And at this point, I'm just like, this lady was so dumb that I didn't even want to talk to her anymore. I was just like, you know what? I don't care. It's not worth the $5 for me. Just fucking, I want this lady out of my fucking face. I didn't want to talk to her any more than that. I was done. And so I hand it to her, and I don't know who she's buying this lava lamp for. I don't know if she's a lava lamp expert or not. So I hand it to her, and I'm just like, hey, just be careful. It comes apart in 3 different places. And she goes, oh, like a lava lamp? I wanted to fucking, accidentally, slip. Be like, oh, sorry, you dropped it. Now it's yours. And just smash it and walk away and see her try to figure out how to get to my house to find the fucking money. Oh, that lady was so stupid. She was the dumbest I've ever had to deal with on Marketplace. That was the dumbest. All right, let me just make sure I don't have anything else. I think I got through all my topics in just to an hour, but this was funny. It's not funny, but somebody had posted there was a kid missing in I think it was in Washington State. And they had a typo. The kid's name was his name was spelled weird. It was Ryder, Rydere. So Ryderdie. So it said Ryderdie, right? So the typo said ride or die, Ryder, and then it added a D, so it said Ryderdie. And so my wife's like, look at this fucking kid's name on this missing poster. They found the kid. The kid wasn't missing for that long. But the kid, it said missing. Ride or die. I was like, dude, did these fucking trash parents? I was like, social services should come get this kid just based on that name alone. But then we realized after reading like more of the article that it was just a typo, and the kid's name was like Ryderdie, which is still kind of a weird name. But Ride or Die would have been such a better name. I couldn't even fucking believe it. It said Ride or Die, like Ryderdie. It said Ride or Die. All right, well that's the podcast. I gotta fucking get upstairs and do this stupid paper. If you like the podcast, subscribe on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get it. I'm a little bit late on the last YouTube show, so I'll upload that. This one should be really easy to upload, so I should be able to do this one. Hopefully I'll get both of them up this weekend. Yeah, that's the podcast. Tell a friend, and I'll check back in hopefully next week, but we'll see. Hopefully. Peace.